This new RV brand just took one of my personal favorite couples camping floor plans and did it in a way that I actually prefer. Welcome everybody, Josh the RV Nerd of Bish's RV. Very happy to be in front of another one of these new Unmapped RVs. This is a new extension of the Rpod family. Rpod stops at about 25 feet. Unmapped is the thing that picks up after that and goes up to about 30 feet. And I am really excited about this model. This is going to be very similar to like a Cougar 25 MLE or the 23 MLE fifth wheel version or something like that. Like there's a lot of brands that build something kind of like this, but they went with an absolutely redonkulous amount of wraparound counter space in this thing. And instead of shaving the countertop back on the campsite of the RV, they extended it deeper. But it's weird. That sounds like it would eat into the floor plan. It actually opens the floor plan up because instead of a traditional dining arrangement, you have this very cool kind of like 3-in-1 function bar to table convertible job where it could be 2 chairs in front of a campsite overlook bar. Awesome. It could be a chair in front of a little mini desk with a lot of counter space in case you want to set up multi-monitors, which is hard to find in a travel trailer under 30 feet. And this is 2811. This is 29 feet. They stayed a foot under 30 right here. Generally going to be rather half-ton towable. But what if you actually want a table? Well, it opens up into a big one, surprisingly enough. You've got a cuddle-compliant theater seat with a fold-away armrest, XL bathroom vent fan, Olympic queen bed, tons of power outlet solutions, not to mention the very cool Trailgater campside bar with the pass-through taco truck window, holding tank heat pads, 400 watts of factory solar, Goodyear tires, tire pressure monitoring. What blows me away is these are so much less expensive with so many more features than so many other things. And I would be a little bit curious. You've seen this quick flyby, I call it floor plan in a flash thing that I like to do. You know, I gave you about a 2-minute quick shot overview of this. What is just your initial knee-jerk impression? The more I go through these unmapped rigs, the more I am liking them. They do so many things I would personally want. Interestingly, I haven't seen a bunkhouse from them yet. I suspect, though, that's more of just a matter of time because this brand is new. They've been able to make a half-dozen floor plans. I just don't think they've gotten to the family models yet. But look at the counter space. Look at all the counter space in here. Oh my gosh. Again, instead of cutting this back, they extended it out to create a mini bar top area. It's not like a massive bar area, but it's a mini bar top area. We also do have it. This is a 32-inch 12-volt smart TV. But if you notice, they didn't try to force box it in. So if you wanted to, after the fact, size that TV up a little bit, there might be some opportunities. It may require you to change out the mounting bracket a little bit. While we're looking down here, no carpet, no floor vents, and central vacuum system built right in. Now, the black thing right at the floor level, I call that the electric dustpan. You flick it up with your toe and it activates a little vacuum system that you can sweep right into. You don't even need an actual dustpan. And I want to give them some serious credit. They added a couple pop-up power towers back here in these rear corners so that you don't need to get these like weird appliance extension cords to try to be able to plug stuff in. They did one thing here, though, in the kitchen I don't personally like. And that is, instead of giving us a fully enclosed cabinet, they did this just kind of open shelf thing. Now, I'm sure when I get to my destination, I could set some, tumblers up here, some water bottles, some things like that. But for transit, you're going to have to remember to take that stuff down. But it does create this opportunity for these cool little function hooks, and that's a very underrated feature. Notice the blackout roller shades as well. A couple other things that I like. I like how the sink cover just stores basically behind the stovetop, gives you a dedicated space for it. I'm not a super fan of the circular sink, but it's big enough I could make it work. I threw a colander in here to give you a size reference. They also have the 2-in-1 where you can see the high pressure sprayer here, but you've got the waterfall edge there on the little hammerhead jobby that it goes from hammerhead shark to just hammer time. Now, one other thing I have mixed emotions on here in the kitchen is how they did the cooking arrangement. Overall, I'm fine with it because of all the counter space we have, but they don't offer a propane oven. They just flat do not. And I know that's a massive deal breaker for some people, so I hope you appreciate that I'll go out of my way to point it out for you. But they left this space down here as though they might consider doing it later. I'll be really curious to know if they continue doing exactly this in a year. Otherwise, they would probably just go with a 2-burner stove. I don't know. And you're thinking, okay, well, how do I make my cookies and biscuits? That's where this one comes in here. That is a 3-in-1 air fryer, convection, microwave. And essentially, anything that you could normally cook in an RV oven, you could, in a travel trailer size RV oven, you could cook in here. That's, it's a little different. Your instructions are a little different. Man, I tell you, as I've gotten older, I've started questioning things that I used to take for granted all the time. Like, when I'm cooking something and it tells me that it takes 40 minutes in the oven, but it takes 2 minutes in the microwave, I've caught myself wondering, what the heck is going on in the microwave? And I'm finding myself like being not trusting of the microwave. Now, you might notice how I have that TV pulled out a little bit. It is on a swing arm mount. I don't know that you need to do that a lot in this camper, but you could. And as you saw in our flyby footage, this can do a couple different things. First of all, if you just need a little desk space, the way I look at this, if you flip up the table extension leaf, that could be a keyboard and mouse location. You could set your screens or your laptop or whatever back here. You could potentially even use the RV's television as an extended monitor, albeit up fairly high. So I don't know that I'd want that as an every time, all day reference. But it could be a desk area. And man, a lot of travel trailers just aren't good for that. But there are some people who go, yeah, the bar top doesn't work for me. I need an actual table. I need space that we could sit down, we could eat, we could play cards, I could play Monopoly, whatever the case might be. And if you need to, you could do that. Now, there's a pair of stools that come with it from the outside. The way the factory looks at it, you would kind of use those in here. You're not going to use them a lot. They're just for an occasional guest, and you get to decide who sits where, or you could bring some additional seats. But here's kind of the other cool thing. Nothing says you have to utilize that extension leaf. If it is mostly just the two of you, this is like, if you don't like the bar top dining, you still can just have a dinner table and then you just put it away. And when you use it like that, you don't kind of cut the camper in half. Now, did you notice how before that armrest was up, basically? If you want the population control, you got it. If you prefer the cuddle compliance, well, it does that too. The fridge is a 12 volt to 10.7 cubic foot in capacity. This RV does have 400 watts of factory standard solar to help be able to offset the power consumption thereof. If you are in an area, assuming you have decent batteries, because talking about fridge use when boondocking and how is my solar going to work is a useless conversation without talking about what batteries do you have. Assuming you have decent batteries and you have good sun coverage, you should be able to pretty much offset the draw of that fridge. Now, it's not the kind of solar package that runs the air conditioners. It's not a mega solar inverter sort of situation. So please keep that in mind. All of the swinging cabinet doors we're looking at, by the way, are soft close also, which is kind of a nice little touch. And they were just really good about not wasting little pockets of space. Whenever they could, they utilized that, which is good, because I do feel like we lost some potential overhead cabinet space in the kitchen with that open face shelf. But yeah, there you are. Oh, hello. Apparently Charlotte is over here spinning a web to tell us about some pig, but I'll just let her go about her business. She hasn't done anything wrong to me. 15,000 BTU factory standard air, 30 amp service by default. There's an option to go 50 amp and prep the bedroom for a second air, or you could actually just get the second air installed at the factory, which will force the 50 amp service. Now, in our flyby floor plan in a flash, I opened up this storage over here in the bathroom. Overall, I think very good, effective bathroom. They did a thing here though that I don't know how everyone's going to necessarily feel. They just gave us this interesting shape mirror over here, which means no medicine cabinet. So they added these little guys over here to help kind of compensate for that, you know? I don't know. Is that successful or not? You leave me a note, let me know. The toilet space is, as I like to refer to it, fairly fluffy friendly. Or as Mr. Anton K, regular viewer, likes to comment on, it is bazooka butt friendly. And I guess that makes sense. I also appreciate, you notice how they have the little hand towel hook? They have just traditional hanging towel hooks as well. It's amazing how many RV bathrooms just ignore simple stuff like that. God, that drives me crazy. Headroom in the shower is not amazing if you're over 6 foot tall like me. With my shoes on, I'm about 6'2" on camera. Managed to bump my head when I was trying to be funny. Idiot. But yeah, there you go. And no need to upgrade the vent fan because they do that for us. Now, up here in the bedroom, interesting, they don't give us an overhead enclosed cabinet, but they include these baskets and they basically build in these little tracks so the baskets kind of stay in place. It's a little unconventional. It's kind of cool. I sort of like it, you know. Now, your headboard power pockets in this are an excellent execution. Let me get you around the corner here, because you get to see that there are some, I can't even get a good angle on it, I'm sorry, but there are household and USB outlets back there as well. You can see how each side of the bed has its own individual dresser drawer and hanging space. The closets are slightly more narrow than an industry standard camper because the bed is slightly wider than an industry standard camper. Normally, you'd expect a 60-inch wide mattress. This is 66 inches wide and 80 inches long. RV companies love to call this a king. It's not. In real-world, actual residential terms, that is known as an Olympic queen. The bed storage, obviously, is very easy lift, but you don't necessarily always have to lift the bed. These aren't super deep, but they do give us a couple handy dresser drawers right here. I have found, though, you really got to open and push them in the middle. They like to kind of crab walk out a little bit. Oh, I just noticed this little indirect light down here with a motion sensor so that at night it will kick on down low so that you can see what's, well, like Four Non Blondes would say, what's going on, without necessarily turning on any main lights. Now, if things suddenly look very up close and personal, it's because I've closed the slide and we are now in road mode. And that's yet another area this RV frickin' nails. Because with the slide closed, I can get to the bedroom. I can get to the bathroom. I can use the dining, provided I don't extend it, obviously. I can get to the fridge. I can get to the sink, the microwave, the stove, the pantry. For an RV with a slide, this is just about as good as you could ever hope for road mode. Which makes me ask the question, does this RV need a bedroom door? I'm probably going to ask you this again outside, just because I'm very curious. Okay, so when I'm walking forward, I will organically duck when I need to. When I'm backing up, I don't have necessarily a sense of, oh, Jesus. I almost sat down on the mattress and I realized I left the bed open. That would have been absolutely hilarious watching me go backside over tea kettle. That was close, but my chubby butt would have got stuck in there. But do we even need this door? What if it just wasn't? What if it was just a window? Or what would you want? All right, so fully loaded, max cargo, you're about 7,500 pounds. I think it's only like 57 dry or something like that. I don't remember. I don't have the hard tag right in front of me, but I put the numbers on screen so that you know. But 7,500 pound max, 29 foot tip to tail, tongue to bumper. Generally speaking, late model tow package half tons are going to find this within their safe capability. You like to do mountain towing? You might want to change that metric a little bit, but that's the surface level thing overview. Look at the patio awning space on this. Yeah, I mean, they did all of it that they possibly could. Again, though, I question, do we even need or want the second door in the bedroom? Because one of the other things that I see, what I like to do, I'm not trying to look for a way to make the RV cheaper. One of the things I'm looking at is a way to avoid breaking it. And if you notice how that bedroom entry door can fold over the awning arm, what that means is that when the awning is open, if you're not paying attention and the bedroom door is also open, you can absolutely break stuff. Ask me how I know. In my nearly 17 years of doing this, I broke one time. It was a Cougar. I effed the awning up. I don't know how else to say it than that. I screwed it up. So don't do what I did. Now that is a rack and pinion slide system. This is still technically in the prototype phase. I have found that sometimes things like multiple sewer connections can change when something goes out of prototype phase and into production. What I'm looking at here is they did manage to plumb the kitchen. Oh, whoa, what the heck? No, why do we have 3 sewer connections on this? This has to be just a symptom of this being a prototype. There's just no way that they could actually send this out with a separate gray, a separate black, and then another separate gray. My estimation when this goes into production is that you're going to have one consolidated bathroom black and gray just in front of the tires, and then on the back of the RV, you're going to have a second gray tank for the kitchen with its own outlet. But what we're looking at here, I gotta believe is prototype-y type stuff, and bet your bippy I'm gonna make sure I relay that concern to the team here so that doesn't get overlooked. And you're thinking, well, how could that have happened in the first place? Engineers design it initially, and then the people who interact with customers get a hold of it and go, yeah, we need to tweak that. That's just how, I'm not saying it's how it should work. I'm just saying that's how the industry always works. So the roof is a stick-built snow-load walk-on. We are ladder prepped on the back. I wish it had a ladder. It doesn't. It's just prepped, but that's my personal preference. Other than that, we are a welded aluminum cage construction with Asdel below your fiberglass on your walls. We have a pretty solid pass-through storage up front. It's not the XL baggage door on both sides because you do have that on-demand water heater tucked up under there, but it ain't terrible, I don't think by any means. The underbelly's enclosed. It is forced air heated. There's a radiant barrier layer there to help enhance efficiency, and it does have 12-volt holding tank heat pads, all factory standard right here. And if you notice that blue sticker on the tongue below the propane tanks, that is it's telling you this is on a Norco chassis, not your traditional Lippert I-beam frame. Of course, there are outside awning lights under the awning. I just don't have them all turned on right now for no reason other than I forgot. To answer maybe proactively, head the train off at the pass here. If you're like, yeah, no, it's really cool that I have this taco truck window. Remember, you do also have those shades there. And of course, you can lock that down. And in case you're curious, that also does have key locks. Now, these always seem to be those butterfly or the conventional key locks because the supplier that makes those doesn't make them with anything else. So that's just one of those things, I guess. The locks could be changed for some other kind of tumbler after the fact if you wanted to. Now, most of this is just out here for decoration, but the stools are included. And remember, those could go inside to act like the extra chairs for that dining table. These are Goodyear Endurance radial tires. A lot of brands have been quietly flipping back to imports. Have you ever noticed when an RV builder changes to Goodyears, they let everybody know? And then when they decide they want to save some money on the camper, they stop using Goodyears. And it's weird, they conveniently forget to tell anybody that. Well, these guys are still running Goodyears, and they're running tire pressure monitoring, all factory standard here. Up on the roof, you have 400 watts of standard solar. It's a pair of 200-watt panels. This has a 30-amp controller, so from the factory, it's pretty much maxed out. It is also prepped for up to a 2,000-watt inverter. Beyond that, you're going to have to get kind of custom DIY. They have a bumper on the back and a receiver hitch rated for 300 pounds so that you can really kind of choose your own adventure here. So, thank you once again for tuning in. Check the links in the description to see where we have one of these parked. And I am really and also the price tag. But I'm really excited to see what folks think about these. So until next time, take care, stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.